This is where the fun begins.
Announcement for my channel, O.G.Starwars. Channel members have a chance to win a copy of Son of Kiphu starting now in November through January just by coming on and supporting live streams. Your name will be entered to win a copy of this wonderful painting. So I encourage you, channel members, to come and support, as this is a way of giving back to you. If you are not a channel member, then what are you waiting for? Our last channel member, Miss Martin Muses, is the one who won Mistress of Rat Attack. Congratulations. And I shall chat with you guys later. See you in the live streams. Have a good day. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? And welcome to Coffee Chat. Today I am solo. I believe that Stig probably needs to, get some sleep, rest for continued healing from his surgery, which I deeply understand. So thank you guys for tuning in. And of course, the most important question of the morning when we begin is, what is in your mug? So what are you enjoying as you sit down and participate and listen to Coffee Chat? Now I had have channel member Lady Toriel who came in, and she's been kicking back and waiting for the show to begin. So thank you so much. And she says, have coffee in my mug this morning. Okay, interesting. She usually has her tea and everything. So she's got it. She's like amping it up right here. Good morning to you. And then Zaggerot 315, good morning. And he says, howdy, y'all. Howdy, how are you doing? And then we have, there we go. There's my question there. And then Orange Hat Review, another channel member. Hello, hello. Hello there, he says. And then of course, everybody's responding to each other. So good morning, everyone, from where I live at in California on the West Coast. And brightest day, good morning. And he says, hail. So good morning to you. And Johnny Ohm, I think I said that right. Morn, hello, hello. And Orange Hat Review says he's had a bottle of water for lunch with some food. Awesome. Yes. So I do have people from the East Coast and just basically all over that comes in and participates in Coffee Chat and my live streams as well. And so I'm so thankful for that. And if you guys seen in the beginning, I am having a copy of the painting giveaway. Once again, I think that was very successful, and it's just a way of giving back to everyone, that all the channel members that come in and support every live stream that I do. And if you haven't had a chance to become a channel member, you still have the chance. So if you become one and attend the future ones between that time frame now and January, your name can be entered to win a copy of the painting. So good morning, everyone. I am doing good. I decided not to come on camera today. I've had one of those mornings that are crazy. So woke up kind of late, and we kind of were moving slow, got out the house, realized I needed gas, but then went to go get gas, and the pump said, go see the clerk. And we're like, we are running out of time here. So so I ran around and, realized, okay, well, it is what it is. So I'm still in pajamas and still have a little bit of bedhead and stuff. And so I don't think that you guys would want to see that. And then Sultan Al-Fahim, or Fahim, yeah. Hello, how are you doing? Crazy hair. Yeah, so like the bedhead kind of ordeal. Yeah, so here we are. So if you guys listen to last week's Coffee Chat, we were talking about, or we went over the Empire comic. It's called Wrong Side of the War. And it was, we basically went through kind of the introduction of the 5 parts, series, or 5-part, comic story. And so now we're doing 2 and 3. And we know that Luke Skywalker is undercover along with Dina, which we've seen her, previously in another comic where they introduced who she is. And so she's undercover as well. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens. And Lady Toriel says, Laura, you always look great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And then good afternoon from England. Thank you so much, Robotic Pope. How are you doing? And how's everything going over there today? Good morning. Yeah. So that comic there is fun. It's we get to see the Imperial side, or their view, and we see someone who basically is kind of like Pelion, where they're for the Empire, but they also have good intentions and stuff like that. And so we'll see exactly what he thinks of as we go along in this comic as well. And so what happens as well. So yeah, let's see. We have more people dropping in. Thank you guys for coming in. It feels strange because I'm drinking my coffee, and I'm like, when I asked you what's in your mug, I'm kind of like cheering it towards the camera, and you guys can't see it. Yeah. Also, what's going on in Star Wars news? I did post something about Matt Smith, who was said to have been casted for The Rise of Skywalker and never made it in the movie. Well, he never really got past the casting system. They never even got into his costuming because their story in early stages was went in a different direction. So it wasn't like it was some kind of conspiracy that people think. I think there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on with what's going like being said with what's going on with Star Wars, and that's including Kathleen Kennedy. There's all these stuff that's being spinned. To me, I think if they didn't announce that she's out and they announced her successor, then she's still in. They don't really have to do a formal announcement on keeping someone if they don't want to, and it doesn't mean anything like any kind of drama or conspiracy or anything like that. The company doesn't have to explain anything to us, right? Now, if they are not renewing her contract, which we are like 5 days after or whatever, and they have a successor, then that's when they announce, because that's a big deal, right? So anyways, that's just my thoughts on that. Bart the Blizzard, cheers. Oh, look at all this coffee. Yep, I think I need some more. Bart the Blizzard, yes. And then Sultan, I don't think she will leave. No, I think that I've seen, and I have to confirm it, but I think Acolyte now is beginning production. And so people are like, oh, she is like really in charge of Acolytes and it's her project, blah, 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 blah. Well, everything's her project. If you listen to that interview with the Guild of America that she had, she basically states that she's a controversial producer, which what she means is that she just doesn't sit behind a desk and approve and do things behind desk. She gets on set, she gets involved with the writers, the director, all of that, and support and all of that. And she also gives them creative freedom too, is what she said. And she also is involved in the shows, which is Mandalorian stuff. And she gets involved with that because she's learning how different producing shows are, like the series versus films. And she's even said that she's very involved with that. So take it with what you will, I guess. That's coming from the horse's mouth directly, other than sources outside. So, you make your judgment on that. Okay, so Orange Hat Reviews, believe me, if she leaves or is kept, they will give a statement. Correct. And I don't think anything's going to be done if she leaves. I don't think anything will change either. So Disney, Star Wars, Disney Lucasfilm is exactly on track on where they want to go. Everything's going to be tied in with one continuity as much as they say it will. We also know that there's a lot of lore breaking considerably compared to when George Lucas had the reins, right? But I digress from that. Lady Toriel, she has the power. Woman, right? She woman bow down. Yeah. So, but that's the thing. And she wants to market, and she wants to help women be prominent or find a space in the film industry, which is fine, I guess. But we also know that they should even hire someone that's skilled and capable, and that doesn't deal with gender or race either. So, yeah. Let's see here. Sultan Al Fahim. She is woman. Yeah. Let's see here. And then Orange Hat Reviews. The damage has been done. Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars. Right. And let's see here. Jake the movie geek. Hello, hello. How are you doing? I am glad that you are participating in the channel and welcome to it. O.G.Starwars, I am new to Expanding Universe Legends. And yes, I've seen that and I haven't had a chance to reply to you on one of my videos. So we'll do it here. I've read both the Thrawn and Darth Bane trilogy and Kenobi. Do you have any recommendations? All right. So since you are reading close in the Empire into the New Republic era, maybe if you are willing to go back in time and learn how the rule of two has been established, then the Darth Bane trilogy is a good read. Or if you want to get into the meat and potatoes of the war and are interested in the battles and what's going on, X-Wing series is another. So those two right there. So hopefully that helps. And Bart the Blizzard, skilled and capable. What do you mean? Yes, and welcome to the EU, and I'm always there, and you can even find me on Twitter on my find me Twitter O.G.Starwars AB. So find me there, follow me, and you can ask me questions and any other that are well versed in the EU. And so hopefully that helps. So if you want to find out how the rule of two came, Darth Bane trilogy, and that's like 3900 BBY, so that's like 3,000 years before the prequel trilogy. So that goes back in time. And then the X-Wings is like shortly after Return of the Jedi. So the X-Wing series. So if you really want to get into the cusp of, them cleaning up and still fighting. Well, they're not still necessarily fighting the Empire, but they're fighting in the remnant and doing like mop up, cleanup and stuff. Because we have these leaders who want to take control after Palpatine's death and stuff. So it's very interesting. Sultan al-Fahim. Al-Fahim. For them to change, they would have to recanonize the EUs and bring crazy good writers. Yes, and that's the thing too, because a lot of us were like in the beginning, we were like, okay, well, maybe just give us our separate timeline and still continue the EU, right? And then everybody be happy because you'll have those who really love what's going on with Disney lore, those who really love the George Lucas era of Star Wars, right? And then those who sit on the fence and like both of them, but you'll have a continued continuity on one end and then the other. Now, with just what we see going on with the lore, it's like, do I trust them to bring in writers for the original EU? I'd rather them keep some of the authors that are well versed in that, and maybe just separate Leland Chee from the story group and have him be in charge of Legends. That would be great, right? Because Leland Chee, Sue Stoney, and a few others were the ones that kept good continuity, kept everything aligned as much as they could with the lore of the EU pertaining to the movies, because the movies basically are the foundation, right? And so everything expands from the movies, but they also enrich the movies as well, because when you get to the PT era, like the PT, the prequel trilogy, George did a lot of world building with the EU for that series or for that trilogy. So, so if they could possibly pull it off that way and just let Leland Chee and have, certain people with that and keep it true to what the vision was for George Lucas and that time period, then that would be great with the same authors. That would be great. Hello, Miss Martin Muses. How are you doing? Her customary hand wave and Rose. And then the EU wasn't perfect, but compared to the Disney, it pretty much was perfect. Yeah, it had a little bit here and there, but there was a lot. They kept, if there was a discrepancy, they were quick to take care of it. And, and so it kept it very, very minor. There's a very little minor ones that really, if you didn't catch it and you weren't well versed in the EU universe, then you wouldn't have noticed it. Yeah. Just got in from Pilates. Awesome. I know last night I did me a booty yoga workout. So yoga with a lot of like HIIT kind of plyo kind of thing. It's good. So yes, I get it. All right. So that is just my take on that. And so I hope you guys are all doing well. So here we go. So we're getting in part 2 of the part 5 series. We're reviewing 2 and 3 here. So again, my my co-host, he's still healing from surgery. So he probably needed to sleep, and that's fine. So, wish him well. If you follow him on Twitter, wish him well. And I'm sure everything's fine. He just needs his rest. He's healing. And so it's just me. So please just, bear with me from going back and forth from reading and the chat to keep, in touch with you guys and, and all that. So here we go. So we have, this is part 2. And last time we left, like I said, we found out who was undercover. And Luke Skywalker, Dina, and a few others were undercover. And this right here, now we have, we have the interrogation droid here. We have Jolin, who is still being tortured for more information. So we'll get into this right here. But doesn't that look freaking scary? Just imagine if this was something real in our world right here, and you got captured by an opposing enemy, I guess, country, I don't know, and you were some kind of official or whatever, and having to deal with that kind of crap. Look at that. That shit's crazy. All right, so everyone, every decision has its consequences. Some are just more consequential than others, and all too often consequences bear the bitter fruit of regret. How many of his past how many of the past decisions does Jorin Soul regret? Certainly, he must regret his decisions to join Senator Organa's party on her mission to Jabim. Probably he regrets his decision to ever cast his lot with the Rebel Alliance. And so this is them contemplating, or this is a contemplation of does he have a lot of regret in this moment where he's going to get tortured of making these decisions, and basically saying that, he's wrong. And this is basically like I said, an Imperial perspective, So, but what else, how far back does regret stretch? And so again, it's like a contemplation here. And it goes, and does he regret his decision to specialize in mathematics? Does he regret the blessings of a brilliant mind which led him to his specialty? Does he regret his own birth? And then Jorin says, please stop. This isn't necessary. So we have that here, and again, they're just ruthless here. And so we have a woman who's the one that's in charge of the torturing. How interesting is that? ITO, there we go. Stop. And then it says stopping. And what is it, Jorin, that makes you think this is unnecessary? You don't have to hurt me. I already told Darth, Lord Vader, everything. I told him all about the Alliance Scramble code. I gave him the lithogram I developed for the... And then she goes, oh, Jorin, you silly boy. I know all that, but this isn't about what you know. This is about what you'll do for me. ITO, resume the session. And so he resumes and he's like, no, so imagine that. And look at her. She's pretty much good looking here. So just imagine a good looking Imperial agent over there interrogating you. And let's see here. Stig had a lobotomy so he could work at Lucasfilm. Oh, no, that's so bad. No. And let's see here. He's not here to defend himself. Sultan Al-Fahim. Well, technically, it is there are surgery robots. Yeah. Let's see here. And Bart the Blizzard, $2 super chat. Thank you. Stig had a lobotomy. He's now the head of Lucasfilm. Jeez, you guys. Follow the Sleeping Viking on Twitter. Yes, he is in his recovery coma, and I say that just lightheartedly. Or in chat review, the interrogation droid. The Giorgio Tio is designed after it, but became a predecessor design as it was introduced in KOTOR 2. I should do a EU short or EU history short on the interrogation droid, just, in honor of this comic that we're going through, right? kinky torture. I don't know. I wouldn't think that, I don't know. That's crazy. Kinky torture. Look at her face though. She looks like she's very interested in her torturing session here. All right, so here's the base that they're at. Again, I see a lot of tie-ins with the base where on Rogue One, where they go to Jen Erso's father. Galen Erso, I believe his name is. Nice of General Noyles to leave his stormtroopers here guarding us. And then they say, and you'll see who this is pretty soon. Yes, but we expected as much, didn't Lieutenant Jenlin? Did we? Didn't we? Sorry, I don't know how to read today. Yeah, so if you guys remember who Lieutenant Jenlin is, that is Luke Skywalker undercover. And so if you know what he named himself other, you'll kind of you put two and two together without me saying anything, because of Tatooine and Jenland. So here we are. There's the signal. Let's go. And so here we go. So you'll see what's going on here pretty quick. We weren't informed you were carrying troop Captain Heron. It was meant to be a surprise, Sergeant. They're your replacement. So there we go. So we see these guys blasting these guys. So if you haven't put two and two together, this is Luke and their group, their group of stormtroopers here. So they're further infiltrating the base. Okay, let's get this deck clean before somebody sees on the double. So there we go. So they shut them down. They're cleaning down the deck and everything, getting rid of the evidence, basically. And then Luke goes, Dina, the captain's called a final briefing, so there she is. So there's Dina. We read about her, a few comics, like about maybe a month and a half ago back, with her and Han, and how she was all starstruck with Han and Luke and Leia. And now she is with them in the rebellion. You all know the plan. We weren't able to obtain a detailed layout of the base, so creating a working map is our first priority. So basically they haven't, they don't have a map. They need to create their own and stuff. So they're very much undercover. Most of you will be needed here to maintain the appearance of the ship being under guard. So again, like I said, these stormtroopers are basically Luke's group of insurgents here of the base. We see R2-D2, which kind of is odd for me to see the droid where, they don't hardly use droid for the Empire, but it is what it is. And we have humans and we do have other species that are undercover with Luke here. Beso, you and Abel are going in. Keep track of where you put the diversionaries. Sure thing, Cap. So here we go. Mouse, excuse me. Let me take a sip here. Okay, Mouse, you're going after the prize. That's a quote unquote prize. Any problems? And then he says, the helmet is too small and the gloves are too short. No problem, sir. So we kind of get a glimpse of like the stormtrooper armor. The suits are basically made specifically for humans and stuff. So it's kind of awkward for other species to wear them because it doesn't fit their physique, I guess you could say. Okay, people, we have just over 48 hours to work. Skywalker, get that R2 unit of yours busy on the fuel pumps. And so you'll see what's going on, what they're doing with R2 and what's going on here. And then we have R2 responding. So let's see what's going on in the chat. All right. And did Dadman Walking 55. Hello. Good afternoon, all. It's lunchtime and can listen for a bit. Awesome. Well, you are just in time as any channel member. And if you become a channel member today, then you will also qualify. Your name will be put in a drawing for a chance to win a copy of my latest painting, and it's Son of Kifu. So welcome in, and I'm glad that you're supporting. Thank you so much. And Matt Wilkins, if I'd known Stig wasn't going to be here, I'd come a lot earlier. Hello, chat. And hello, Matt. Yes, he is probably still recovering and resting from surgery and stuff. So he could not make it today. So if you see him, say hello and wish him well on recovery. And then Fuck Norris, hello, another channel member here. Good afternoon. And again, your name will be put in for drawing a chance to win a copy of Son of Kifu. So thank you guys so much for your support. And again, those who are not a member of the channel, you still have opportunity to become a member and fully support. And I'll show you the picture. I won't do the video that I did in the beginning. So there you go. So it's not fully done yet. In fact, I haven't worked on it in a week and a half. So shame on me. But it's oil paint, so you could take a break and still go back to it and stuff. And so there we go. So I have to fill in the shoulder armor here. And I still have to refine the saber, the blade, the plasma, and just touch up all around and finish up any last details, all of that. So awesome. All right. So that is the next one to be given away, a copy of. Teresa or Miss Martin Muses was the one who won the last drawing. So congratulations. I'm just thrilled about giving back like that to you guys, because you guys are amazing. You guys are such great supporters. Okay, let's continue. So now we have these little thought bubbles here, I guess you could say, are perspectives of the empire going on here, or the individual. All right. So after it was determined that no further rebel attacks were imminent, Lieutenant Janek Sunber, I want to say Sunber, but Sunber saw to it that his remaining troopers were assigned a new company. Then found an empty bunk for himself in the junior officer barracks. He had been issued a new kit. His belongings had been listed as lost in transit from Japan. It was not the first time. So this kind of shares what goes on with these officials, in the empire. And, so we'll go on with that. And I'll say further here after I'm done reading this. Janek Sunber learned a long time ago to forego attachment to personal items or mementos. Life in the infantry is lived by the infantry rules. And then someone says, hey, meet. And this goes on here. And rule number 1, at home or in field, you fight for every centimeter. And so this officer says, park your carcass in another room. This one's mine. So now we have it. So we have Janek, who found this empty space, but then it seems like it's already been claimed. So again, so we see, how these guys, learn to, not really become attached to their items and stuff like that. Especially right now when, they have this civil war, I guess you could say, going on with the rebellion. And so this says, and you defend it against all enemies. Really? I was under the impression that it belongs to the Galactic Empire, he says to the officer behind him. Hey, the new guy is trying to move into Clin's room. So that's his name. His name is Clin's. He's what? Oh, this'll be good. What's the story on the new guy? So these guys are now like curious, or like, what's going on here? He came in from Jabim, so he's seen some action. Not much, I bet. I heard they were just rounding up slaves. And then they go on to say Clin will crush him. So we see this here, Janek and Clin going face to face here. He wants to look, because he's a lot taller, bigger, looks rougher. He has the snarl face, and he has a smirky face like, yeah, go ahead and try it, buddy. All right, so let's move on. And so they begin to fight. So he really thinks that he can take, because Janek is a lot smaller, he really thinks that he can take over on him just out of force brute and all this. And so we see them, and he blocks his punch and gets him in the gut. And these guys are surprised here. First blood to the new guy. That'll make Clin mad. And so he grabs him, flips him over onto, it looks like, the couch or the bed or whatever, but it smashes in. And then these guys are like just amazed here. Clin's down? Wait till I get my hands on you, smart guy. And, so he moans, I guess, here, I guess, and stop pushing, find your own spot. So these guys are really getting into it. They're really, like, we see this all the time when, people will rather watch the fight than stop it, buddy, Captain Rashir, sir. So a captain comes in to break up the fight. Captain on deck. Sunber, Clin, what's the meaning of this? Clin, you've been warned about fighting. Do you want to end up in the stockade? No, sir. Then you'll take an extra duties. You two are supervising the next 2 shifts together. This is your last warning, Clin. And you, Sunbearer, this is no way to begin a new assignment. Maybe this is the way you handle disagreements at your previous post, but you're not on Meridian anymore. And then he's like, Meridian. So there we go. So we had a little bit of action here. Let me go into the chat, see what's going on. Let's see here. And let's see here. So Sultan Al-Fahim says good art. Yeah, it's fairly good. I mean, there's other comics that are better like The Republic and Legacy, but this is really good. It's really decent. I have no full complaints here. It meets the standards for standard comic art. And then robotic, that looks great. And Miss Bart Muse is like, that they're beautiful. That's what she said. Hello, Jock Nerdy. How are you doing? I didn't see you comment earlier, so you come in with that. Awesome. Lady Toriel, it's mine. All mine. Ha ha ha. Yep, exactly. So that's what's going on there. And then hello, Legends of the Brave Bard by C.T. James. Just popping in on my lunch break. Mad love, gang. Yes, and thank you so much for popping in and supporting. Thank you so much. And let's see here. This not only looks good, but has a good story. Yes, it does. I agree. And then Robotic Pope, wrecked by the Sun Bear. Yeah, I keep on wanting to read it as Sun Bear, but it's Sunber. All right, so let's continue the story. All right, so here we go. So we have some ties coming into the base here. And we have, everybody meeting here. Captain Harun, my apologies to you and your crew for the misunderstanding last night. The strain of running the space and trying to conduct a war against an enemy who refuses to stand and fight has taken its toll on my manners, I'm afraid. So we're getting the Imperial perspective of what's, the war, what they think about the rebels, all of that. And I think it's very interesting. We always get the rebels perspective. We're always in their space. Now we're in the Empire space here. So I think this is a great read for that. And this is what I think the Clone Wars, Filoni's Clone Wars should have been, is the clones perspective more or less than it went kind of like Ahsoka show in a way. I think that they should have still continued it as the clones perspective. That would have been made for a great series, but that's just my thought. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. But, so we have this. We always get the rebels perspective. And I think even Disney Star Wars is doing that because we've always we get in shows of rebels perspective. Nonsense, General. It's quite understandable given the circumstances. And then he goes on to say, the cowardly hit and run tactics used by the rebellion aren't exactly what we were trained at the academy. I dare say, so these guys, if you guys don't know who they are, these are the insurgents here. These are the rebel insurgents here. From sound of it, you and your ship were in the thick of it, and with a lady on board too. Wow. All right. So take that with what you will, what he says, with a lady on board too. We are in the Empire. We know that they don't think too well of, like women very much, but more or less so they don't think too well on alien species. A lady, yes, but an Imperial officer first, right? Or first, am I right? So there we go. So they quickly, try to change the perspective there. Lieutenant Sean, Captain, and Rashir, a tanker is an unusual place for a science officer, isn't it? And she goes on, Lieutenant Sean says, I have orders to monitor fuel consumption at Imperial bases, boring routine work. So she kind of like counters him a little bit. Now, like her last name, and we've talked about this when she was introduced to the series here, her last name is Sean or Shan. And so is she, we're trying to figure out, and I wish we could have got more of her backstory of her family lineage, if she's tied into, the Shans from, the Old Republic. We don't know. We can only speculate. All right. And then, but I go where the Empire sends me, Captain. So she's still talking to him. Then we hear on Kalist IV shall count ourselves fortunate. So he does have some mannerism there. Yes, well, I asked the captain to join us in hopes that he could prepare an action against the rebels who attacked your ship. If you could pinpoint the location where you first encountered the rebels. So they have the screen up and they're, going over the stats on what happened and all of that. And so certainly, Lieutenant Genland. Yes, sir. We first spotted the rebels here in the Tila system. So there we go. And it's crazy how they have to give information, even though that they are the rebels. So very crazy. It's very interesting here. Being undercover like that. Tila, there were rumors of a rebel base there, but nothing has been reported for some time now. It's possible they're planning a new offensive. And then he goes on to say that that's what you have to find out. Perhaps I can assist Captain Rashir, General. So she, she gives her assistance, her service to. And during my final training, I was part of the geographic survey of the Tila system. Or Thyla? Is it Thila? Thila or Tila? So there, I'm just going into like my language, Lakota, the TH is a T instead of th. So that's how I'm reading it. So if it's Thila, then I apologize. All right, so let's go on. I'm sure that if the captain and I combine our areas of expertise, we could locate the most likely hiding place for the rebels. And this was funny here because they're right behind her and she's pointing at the screen and stuff. And I was laughing because it looks like he's checking her out. Like his point of vision is going down towards her bottom. I don't know. But it looks like he's checking her out. I think that's an excellent idea, sir. And then he says, very well. If you need me, General, I'll be in the cartography section. This way, Lieutenant. So there we go. Let me check the chat here. See who has popped in. Let's see here. One chat review. Thank you for coming. I greatly appreciate your support. Gotta run. Watching the little nephew and niece. Have a wonderful day, OG and chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, you guys, please hit the like button. Share on Twitter that I am live. It doesn't, so and if you want to, if I have any mods in the chat, go ahead and share my Twitter information and all that. Okay, let's go back to the comic here. And let's see here. So now we get back to the two guys that Sunber and his partner, and they are on duty. And they are on duty down in the slave quarters here beneath the base. So here we are. So all the people they got from Jabim and other places, they are now slaves to the Empire. So here we go. This is the main workshop. The slaves work, the Stormies watch the slaves, and we watch the Stormies. This is where you'll spend most of your time unless we get sent on a mission. And then, so this is where Clint's talking to Sunber. Do we get sent on many missions? Not that many. Don't worry. Oh, I get it. You got a taste of action on Meriden. No, it's just that it's not that I just, and then he's looking, he's like you could see a worry on his face. And he says, Sunber says, it's the slaves. I didn't expect humans. So again, you know, they don't care. They don't mind enslaving other species, alien species, right? But humans is not something that they practice too much, I guess you could say. And so he's very confused on that. And so that's telling. And I'm just going to say this, and I'll put, once we're done here and this is published on my channel, I'll even put the little bar for you to go click and check it out. But Open Airlock Policy, Tim did a good little documentary on the xenophobic empire. So if you want to check out his video, you know, go ahead and find it. If I have someone in the chat that is modding, if you could pull up that link to that video and share it in the comments, please do. And then later on, when this is published, I'll have a bar so you could follow the link to that channel and watch the video. It's a great video. And then Mirrodun, what was it like? HoloNet News said your company defeated hordes of monster aliens with only 5 men in the end. And then he's like, more like 25 and the aliens. And Amon called a truce. I think they were only testing our resolve. So, you know, they're, you know, chatting back and forth here. Well, I heard it was a great day for the Empire. You guys were heroes, Sunber. You really gave the rebels something to think about. I bet they gave you a medal, huh? And then Sunber says, they let me keep my lieutenant's patch. Look, Clint, I don't know how much action you've seen. And he's like, I've seen my share, but nothing like you. It doesn't feel heroic. Men die. So he's being really honest with himself here. Too many men. If I'd done things differently, if I'd been smarter, maybe more of my men would have survived. And then Clint goes on to say, you sure don't talk like a hero. You go through life worrying about what you should have done. Pretty soon you'll be so full of doubt and questions, you won't be able to do the next thing. So there we go. And then he goes on to say, you'll end up like these slaves. They gambled on the rebellion and lost big, but they didn't just lose the battle, they lost their hope. There are 1,000 of them on the shift and only about 100 of us. You think it's our blasters that keep them alive? So he has a point there. There's so many of them, they can easily overtake them, right? But they don't. They I guess, have loss of hope, feel oppressed. Who knows? The ones you brought in might still have some fight left, but there's the ones who've been here a bit, they're done. We can do whatever we want with them. You'll see. Anyway, the past is the past. You just count yourself lucky that you ended up on the winning side. And then he goes on to say, and do what you can to make sure you stay a winner. So there we go. So we're getting a more perspective of an Imperial officer or Imperial. And then hold up a second. So now we're with these stormtroopers and you'll find out who they are. What's the matter, Junior? This crate too heavy for you? So they're being, kind of, they're having a little push and pull on each other. Funny. Look below. What do you see? A factory and a bunch of workers. Not workers, slaves. We've got to get the word to Captain Heron. So basically, these are the undercover stormtroopers from Luke and them. Why? What does slaves have to do with our mission? They change everything. We can't rescue Jordan Saul and leave all those people here to rot. This mission just got a lot bigger and a whole lot more complicated. So there we go. So they realize, oh shit, they have slaves here and they're humans. Well, it did to the Rebel Alliance. It doesn't matter if the humans are what their species is, right? But the point is freeing these guys from slavery from the Empire, being slaves of the Empire. But I wouldn't expect a clone to understand. Interesting. So this goes back to how, the clones were programmed to just obey and, not worry and all of that. So that's very, very interesting. So he looks at the helmet, he puts it back on. Come on, no matter how the mission changes, we still have to plant these chargers. You're the boss, Sarge. So they have this further information on what's going on, what's really, really going on here. All right, so now we're back in the quarters of the Empire here, where they're meeting and all this stuff, and looks like they're just having a casual get together, what have you. And here is Jenland here, and we know who Jenland is. Are you sure what's supposed to be are you sure that's supposed to be a woman, sir? Looks more like something a womp rat would eat. So this is a hollow image of an art piece, or it's just an art piece in itself. I assure you, Lieutenant, it is a woman. The sculptor, so it's a sculpture, is quite famous in the Galactic Corps. And so he sighs. I hope this is to your liking, Captain. One does what one can out here on the fringes of civilization. And then he goes on to say, I congratulate you, General. This is an impressive retreat, a little bit of home away from home. So there we go. And so we have Jenland. Looks like he's just trying to make himself comfortable there, what have you. Sure beats anything we've had where I came from. Really, I had no idea. Care for a drink, Captain? It's a Corellian blend. So are they, drinking some Corellian whiskey or something? I'll just have an Elba beer if you got one, sir. So kind of weird to see Luke drink, but, it is what it is. I'm pretty sure he's had a few in his life, but we all know that his favorite drink is hot chocolate, right? Lieutenant, perhaps now would be a good time to avail yourself of the shower and hot meal the general promised us. So they're like excusing him. He's like, okay. He's like, oh yes, sir, if the general will excuse me. So they're excusing, Jenland away. And absolutely, Lieutenant, by all means, enjoy your meal. Just take the left at the corridor and follow it to the left. It will take you directly to the commissary. So basically, we know that they don't have a map of the base, so they have to map out things themselves. So this gives him an opportunity to do that. Thank you, sir. As I was saying, this is a Corellian blend, so now they're enjoying themselves. And here we go. So we have Luke exploring now, our Lieutenant Jenland exploring now. And let's see what's going on in the chat. How are you guys doing here? Thank you so much. And then good journey, Denman walking. Yes, thank you again, Denman. There you go. Thank you, Miss Martin Muses, for that. So you guys go check that out. I'm like pointing down to it as if I'm on camera. Oh my God. I'm just, it is what it is. All right. So what do you guys think so far with what's going on here? So we have Luke and his people. They're infiltrating the base, and we'll find out what they're really doing and why they're doing this. And so they're undercover here. We have Luke's stormtroopers realizing that there's slaves there. They're planting their surges around and stuff like that. So we see that going on, and they had to put themselves in circumstances to where they have to talk about their rebellions, missions, and stuff like that, because they can't give themselves away, right? And so this is really interesting. We get to see the perspective of the Imperials as well, and what they think about the rebellion, what they think about their side of the war, that every side thinks that they have a purpose, that they are doing good. They have good for the people, good for their followers, good for whatever. And so we get to see the Imperial perspective. So there you go. And let's see what's else going on. I don't think I missed anybody else coming in, and I haven't had a chance for those who started coming in and participating in the chat. What are you enjoying in your mug? So what are you enjoying? I have coffee, of course. It's morning time where I'm at. So what are you enjoying? What type of beverage? And maybe if you're having lunch or whatever, let me know in the chat. So let's move on. Oops, wrong way. All right, so now we're going to part 3, the wrong side of the war here. So here we go. So we still have these two going face to face here. All right, so here we go. Duty is a fool's mistress. The saying is a dark joke among young Imperial recruits who are only beginning to comprehend that to which they have given themselves. It is a muttered with resignation by seasoned officers who know all too well her empty promise and ceaseless demands. Nag, so basically, please stop. And so basically, we still see Jolin getting Mr. Soul getting tortured here by this mistress, this Imperial lady here, so she's like, it looks like she's enjoying this. Look at her. That's kind of sick, she's enjoying this. And it is the whispered taunt that claws at the will of those who have sought solace in her embrace, only to be broken against her cold, comfortless bosom. And he's like, please. And then she goes, so soon, Joran? Very well, though I should warn you, stopping now will only make it harder on you when we resume. And we will resume soon. I want to be sure I can trust your promises. There we go. And look at her face. She's all smirky. She's in control. So she's very confident in what she's doing. We have what we need. Zud, don't push him too far. So her name is Zud. I thought that was funny. I'm aware of his limits. I want to be certain. Let's make full use of Joran's soul in the time we have left. So there we go. So now we went from that scene, what's going on with Joran's soul, and Zud, or Zud, whatever, shifts over. It's time for some fun. I don't know, Klin. So now we have Klin and we have Sunber here, and their shift is over. And then, so now we're looking down, they're looking down at the slaves. They're getting ready to exit and stuff. I just pulled 2 back-to-back shifts. After coming off my gig on the transport, I'm beat. I'm going to get some sleep. So, Sunber basically is like, I'm leaving. I need my sleep. I'll show you a better way to relax. Come on. And then so we get to the little yellow boxes here. Sunber follows reluctantly in the hours that have just passed. So you're going to be friggin' crazy. This is going to be crazy what's coming up. That have just passed. Klin, for all his bluster, has revealed himself to be surprisingly naive on the realities of combat, but more practiced than he is in the politics of military bureaucracy. He decides to follow the lead of his new friends. And then it goes on. This leads to the workers' quarters, so he's questioning Klin's motives here. Feeding time, they'll all be in the mess hall. So they're all lining up. It's feeding time, all of that. And then so Klin walks up to someone and grabs her. Come with me. And she's like, no. And then one of the slaves says, let her go. And he slaps him. And she yells, Goran. And then he says, Klin, no, Goran. And then, he's basically, is down on his knees here, grunting and stuff. And he gets kicked in the gut. And basically the wind looks like it gets knocked out of him. And he's all, stay down. And then he grabs her and takes her with him. And Sunber's like, didn't like the situation. The look on his face here, he's very upset with what he is seeing going down. Shoot any of the prisoners who attempt to follow me. And he's all, yes, sir. And so Sunber follows. And he's like, stop. What are you doing? And then he said, what's with you, Sunber? This is one of the perks of being on the winning side. Wow. Look at it. And he takes her to a secluded room. So here we go. Find your own. You're not going to do this, Clint. Not while I'm here. And then so he pulls his blaster out and puts it to his face. You're pulling a gun on me? And he's holding on to her. So just imagine if he wouldn't have stopped her, what might have happened to the slave here? What a sicko. Okay, no, I'm telling you, I'll blow your head off if you don't let the prisoner go. And he's like, fine. This isn't over, war hero. Or not. You have no idea of the trouble headed your way. And then so Sunber looks at his gun, and here we go. Sunber isn't sure which of the events that just transpired was the most shocking. Clint's intending assault of the prisoner or his own drawing of the weapon against a fellow officer. One thing is certain, though. He's not going to have a friend on Kalist IV any time soon. And then now we switch scenes here. So let me go ahead and take a look at the chat. I don't know if that was surprising to you or not. Let's see here. Gold Peak Tea. Awesome. Awesome. So what do you guys think of that? It's alluding that he probably would have sexually assaulted her or something. This is Star Wars. They said it's for kids, right? But we see, an officer, an Imperial officer, he's like, we are the winning side, and this is what the winning side does. And it's just crazy how they share that side of the war as well. And then thank you so much, Darth Huster, $5 super chat. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you so much. So in the chat, what do you think of that one scene of Clint going after the female prisoner, and possibly if he wouldn't have been followed by Sunber, probably would have sexually assaulted her or something. It's not going to go into full details of what might have happened or whatever, but just imagine they're sharing the nitty-gritty part of war and sick individuals as well. So let me know what you think in the chat with that. All right. So now we're switching scenes. Like I said before, Jemlin, you're back. We expected you last night. And then, there is R2-D2 there. I wanted to make sure I got a full tour of the command center. So there again, like they said, they need to map and get to know the full details of the base, right? How's everything here? For every liter we pump out of the base tanks, your R2 unit tells the base captain that we pumped a liter in. The Imperials don't suspect a thing. So they're getting fuel from the base for the rebellion because the rebellion needs it, right? So they're getting fuel as well. But you should speak to the captain, sir. Something's come up. And he goes, I should have guessed this couldn't go as smooth as it seemed. So there we go. So they're stealing fuel from the Imperial base. And then here we go. So we're jeopardizing the entire mission for a bunch of write-offs. I don't understand, Sarge. And so we're talking about clones. So this right here, and we skipped the comic that had this clone, but this is one of the clones from the Clone Wars. I'm suspecting Abel, I believe, that he, basically went, he automatically went under Luke Skywalker since he's a Jedi. So that's his general. So he automatically went under his command because that's how he was genetically programmed to do, right? So it goes back to that comic. I didn't realize we skipped it, or I did know we skipped it, but I didn't realize the importance of this. So here we go. So this, I'll continue to read. They aren't write-offs, Abel. They're prisoners of war and innocent non-combatants. They deserve our help if we can give it. From what I've seen, the Alliance, the last thing it needs is more mouths to feed. And then Jemlin or Luke says, sounds like I've missed something. Sorry, General, sir. So basically he's going to go to General Skywalker because he is a clone from the Clone Wars, right? And so he's defaulting to General Skywalker because, the Jedi who led them were generals to them. I didn't mean to question orders. I'm just confused. Relax, Abel. Your concerns are well founded, actually. Sergeant Basso, why don't you bring General Skywalker up to speed? So he's like, quote unquote, General Skywalker. While we are planting our divisionaries, we discovered that there's a huge factory beneath the base. The Imperial transport that arrived at the same time we did. Joran Sol wasn't the only prisoner on board. There were also hundreds of prisoners from Jabim, and were added were added to the slave workforce that was already here. And then, of course, Luke says, "Ah, see." So there we go. So the plot thickens here. We know why they're there. We know what their purpose is there. And now they have more to add to their plate because, they're not going to let this group of people, these slaves, remain under the empire, And so here we go. Getting everyone out would require, and then he's a massive airlift and a large diversion than our little team can provide. Forget it, Luke. We could never make it work. And then he goes, "Sir, I respectfully disagree. If the Imperial transport is still here yes, we could do it. But we need different, we need to perfect things. If we could get a message to the rebel fleets." And then he goes on to say, and I think that's Heron, out of the question, any transmissions would be picked up by the Imperials. So they're over there now going through the schematics, through everything that needs to transpire to complete this added part of their mission. We don't need to contact them, Captain Antilles has his boys, and his boys are coming anyway. So now we know Wedge and Red, or Rogue Squadron, is coming as well. And you realize what you're suggesting. Think of what it could mean for the fleet if we fail to rescue Joran Sol, or if we don't come back with this fuel. So there we go. So they are outweighing everything. They're making sure that they can get this done, or if it's even plausible for them, or even sustainable for them in their mission. Think of what it will mean for the slaves if we do nothing. My mission on Raltyr left me no choice but to leave my own people behind, and they were slaughtered by the Empire. I can't turn my back on innocent captives again. I won't, sir. So there we go. So not only did we, get past and present of Jabim and what happened there, and, the people being left for the separatists and later for the Empire, we also have now him and his people being slaughtered and stuff like that by the Empire. So he doesn't want to see this fate of these slaves here as well. So makes sense here. All right, Luke, Sergeant, put together a plan. If we're going to risk everything, we should at least have a plan. And then they go on to say the Empire killed your men. Okay, I think I'm beginning to understand. So that's Abel, the clone, right there. It's about time, he says. Hey, where's Dina? She should have been back hours ago. So now they're missing Dina. She's not there with them. And this is what's going on. So there we go. So not only do we get, suspected like sexual assault that could have happened, we also get, some little bit of quote unquote R&R with a couple of people here. All right, so let's see what's going on in the chat here. And I got that one over. Oh, Dark Haster, thank you so much for becoming a member of my channel, and thank you for your continued support as well. Your name will go into to the drawing to win a copy of Son of Khufu. And every time between now and January that you attend a live stream, your name will be entered to win. So if you attend all of them, that's all of the live chats that's scheduled between that time frame. That is what that's as many times as your names will be going into the drawing. So you have, the more you attend, the better chances you have. And then Fuck Norris, thank you so much. So thank you. I appreciate it so much. And again, even for the subscribers here in chat. Thank you guys for supporting me as well. All right, so let's move on here. So basically, these two got it on here, as you can tell. And Dina looks very, very relaxed here. So, and he goes on to say, we make a good team. You and I complement one another. And so those were the two that were kind of like, I guess if you didn't catch it, they were kind of flirting around a little bit. And he's like, meet me here kind of deal. And this is what conspired here. It's not often that I meet a woman who is so intelligent. So, well, let's leave it at intelligent. The information you've provided will make my career. And then she goes on to say, I was just doing my job. He's like, nonsense. Dina, I want you to consider something. And she's like, all right. No, it's too soon. And then she's like, what is it, Kale? You can tell me. So now they're having their conversation back and forth. And what we can allude to is that she told him information. She told him information about the rebellion. I guess we don't exactly know. So here we go. No, it would be presumptuous of me, perhaps when I return. And she's like, return? Yes, tomorrow, perhaps the day after at the latest. Like I said, the information you provided has given me a great opportunity. I've been chosen to lead the attack on the rebel base on Tila. If the base is where you predict, I'll soon have Commander code cylinder. Yeah, so she, so her, Luke, and them are all giving them information about the base being on Tila. And so that's where they're sending them so they can leave, right? Possibly. Who knows? And then she goes, but Kel, it could be dangerous. The rebels might anticipate an attack. There might be a booby traps and he's like, hush, your concerns are unfounded. What hope do the rebels have against trained Imperial troops? Wait for me, Dina. I'll return as quickly as I can. And she's like, what have I done? So there we go. So now we get back to Sunber. Sunber was certain that after the incident with Klin, he would not be able to sleep, which is why he was so surprised to find himself waking from it. On the double, move it. B Company, see to your men. C Company, issue special weapon packages. This is not a drill. Captain Rocher, where do you want me? Right here where company command can keep an eye on you. Lieutenant Klin just told me about your actions. So now we had Klin going off and running to tell on what happened, but he wasn't truthful, of course. He's making shit up, basically. Interfering with a lawful discipline of a prisoner is one thing, but drawing a weapon on a fellow officer? Sir, let me explain. You don't have all the facts, Sunber tells him. You're lucky this mission came up, Sunber. Otherwise, you'd be facing a hearing right now. He's like, sir. So again, Klin basically went over there and got even, I guess you can say, and was not truthful at all. And because if he told the truth, then he would have been reprimanded probably. And then so, Sunber is like pissed. He's in question. He's like, sir, and he's in defensive of himself. I can explain. Save your explanations for the tribunal. It will arrive soon enough. And then so the little yellow boxes, I could spot grows in Sunber's okay, Alora, slow down. A cold spot grows in Sunber's stomach. He has been in this position before. And this time he feels no confidence or security in the righteousness of his position. He has already tested Imperial military justice. So look at him. So he has some moral structure and he's been put in position. This is what I'm guessing from what the little yellow boxes said. He's been put in positions position of seeing shady shit going on and questioning them. And, so now he's got himself in this predicament to where his commanding officers think that Klin was, correcting a slave basically, and that he pulled his blaster out on him. And so here we go. Troopers are being sent off on a mission. And then so we get back to Zud, or whatever her name is. It won't be long now. And then the officer right next to her says, I hope you're right. That soul is ready. And then here comes Dina. Dina, Lieutenant Sean. And then a friend will expect a smile of recognition and acknowledgement that when faced together, the current situation is not so tough. So she looks back and she looks like she's unsure of herself, or that it doesn't exist at all. And then he says, I'm glad I found you, Captain. Haran was getting worried. We all were. She was out having a bit of fun. And so here we go. We see them lifting off. So they're taken off to Tila or Athila. And then the unexpected appearance of a friend can buoy the spirits and provide an almost immediate relief from the troubles of the world. And so Luke and Dina watch, the Imperials take off towards where they suspect the rebel base is at. It looks like your part of the mission was a success. They practically emptied the base of troops. Wow. There we go. And then so here we go. Especially when that friend is one in whom years of trust have been invested. And then Luke R. Genlin says, we should get back to the ship. Give the captain a full report. When that friend is from the same guileless farm boy stock as oneself. Luke. Oh boy, here we go. Luke Skywalker. And here we go. We have Dina and Luke look at each other like, oh shit. Like if that question mark can be, it should have been an expression mark instead of a question mark. But if that could be the thoughts of their head, in their heads, they're like, oh shit, we've been discovered. What the hell? Is that you? I know that walk anywhere, but I never expected to see it here. How are you? How long has it been? And then he goes on, Tank. I guess it's been a while. Oh shit. And there we go. Dun dun dun. The plot thickens here. So basically, they get the Empire off. They get the base cleared by giving them false information about where a rebel base is at, right? And they're stealing fuel. They discover slaves. So now they have that, they have an added mission to that mission, right? They have an added task to take on, right? And now someone recognizes Luke Skywalker. And from what we read, they both come from Tatooine. He knows him. That's Tank. So what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think is going to transpire after this? So like I said, from the first one and now these two, the first, second, and third of this 5-part little series here, it keeps getting thicker. The plot thickens as we go along. It gets heated. We see the Imperial perspective of the war, right? And then, now we find out that Luke has a friend that's on the Empire side. And so it gets interesting. It really does. So I look forward to 3 or 4 and 5 of the series. Buck Norris, he's like, oh shit. Now, do you really think that Disney Star Wars can give you such a plot, like such a on your seat kind of story with the comics and stuff? Or even in their series and stuff? Do you really think so? As far as I've seen and heard, no. So like I said, they're undercover for fuel. They find slaves. So now that's added to their tasks. They're going to rescue the slaves now. So it's added to their mission. And, then we have Dina, who is sleeping with one of the officers. They tell him a location where the base, a rebel base, could be at, so it clears the base. And they're getting fuel for the Rebel Alliance as well. So they're stealing fuel. And now someone recognizes Luke. Dun dun dun, right? Right. So this is crazy. This is amazing. Like I said, this is such a on the edge of your seat little series here. And I think it's amazing how they wrote the story. We get this perspective. We get Imperial perspective as well. I think it's a well done story. And again, fuck Nora says that. And he's like, Disney's not even close, right? It's not even close. Mind you, I try to stay research the stories and stuff so I can compare and contrast, which I'm really, really overdue on compare and contrast video. I apologize for that. Let's see here. Soul Assassin, Disney can't hit water if they fell out of a boat. Right? So here we go. So we have this story. It's amazing here. And even this cover right here. So let me remove Soul Assassin from the screen here. Even this cover right here alludes to stuff going on there. And I can't wait to get on with the next two parts of and conclude on what's going to happen. Now, this one, I usually read ahead, so I'm prepared. But this time I'm reading as we go along. So last night is when I first read and prepped for the show here. So usually I've already read ahead, and so I'm just reviewing. So this is something that I look forward to. Like I said, comics weren't really a thing I was reading as I was growing up. It was more or less novels, picking up the novels and reading and all this other stuff. So, and I do initially know the history of the timelines and stuff like that, but to read the comics that tie in or go with the books or in between stories of the books or the novels gives you more of a broader perspective of what's going on. And this gives you a broader perspective of what's going on with the rebels and the Empire and all that. Aw, where is our favorite Stig? He is recovering. He's still healing. He probably needs his sleep. We were discussing that last night. He was like, there's a 75% chance that he'll be on, that he's been, when he sleeps, he's been sleeping for hours, which is normal when you're healing from operations and stuff. And so his body, is of course working overtime. So he is slumbering probably, and he's in a healing trance. There we go. He's in a healing trance as we speak. And so on. So there we go. So next week, part 4 and 5 of the series here. So if you want to know what's going on with Luke and his friend that recognizes him, come back. If you want to know if they find if that is really a base or not and what happens because they clear the base, then stay tuned for next week, next Thursday. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. I think you guys will in the diaper tank. Yes, in the diaper tank. Yeah. So I think that you guys will be pleasantly surprised with this. And this is from the Rebellion Volume 3, which has the Empire comics from the George Lucas era of Star Wars, of course. And so if you guys have not had a chance to pick up these comics, it's one of the few things I'll say, if you can't find it for a reasonable price on its own, then pick up the collection with the Legends label, because sometimes some of these comics, they're not reprinted. And if you find them on eBay, Amazon, or whatever, they're going to go for a hell of a lot of money because they're collector's items now, right? Now, if you have the money and you're willing to shill out that money for the non-label original comics, non-legend label, do it. But if you can't, then get it with the Legends. And when you get the collections, then you're going to get a series of comics relatively in order, in timeline, as of the history timeline of Star Wars during the time period. So there we go. Yep, best to Stig, yes. Laugh out loud, lady. There we go. Yeah, so we're gonna, it feels crazy because I usually, I have Stig in here, and some of those scenes that we went through, Stig would have provided a nice little pun or a nice little something with his quirkiness. Like even right here, like I said, ooh, Star Wars was made for kids. Well, is this really for kids? But it is what it is, because it's showing that this universe is real for this universe, right? Let me see here. The secondhand market prices are insane, right? That's what I'm saying. So usually I say if you don't want to support Disney Star Wars at all, and you don't want to buy the Legends label, because when you do buy the reprints with the Legend labels, you're supporting them, right? I mean, if you're on that part where you don't want to give them any money whatsoever, always go to the secondhand market, right? Always go to alternative sources like the thriftstore.com, the thriftbookstore.com, or whatever it is, or even Amazon, because some people can put their stuff on Amazon and sell through that. But the more popular, usually the price goes up. So finding the hardcovers to the Thrawn trilogy, that could be a pretty penny right now. So you just have to search. But with the comic collections, if you need to save money for whatever circumstance, then go ahead, no judgment here. Purchase with the Legends label, as long as you have it and that you add it to your collection. I guess that's what matters. But so there you go. And then, so here we go. So yeah, so they slept with each other. I mean, there wasn't any sexual scenes, but you know that. And so here we go. So that's what I like about original Star Wars, is that it gave you perspectives of, like I said, the Empire, the rebellion of individuals, and even scenes like this right here. And so it shows that this is reality in their universe. Nothing is hidden here. So those in the chat, if you've been with me for the whole time, what was your favorite scene in these two comics? If you want to address that. We're going to start closing out, but I just want to get some conversation in with the two comics here. So go ahead and share. Let's see here. And it says, I would buy Star Wars comics before Disney got their hands on it. Yeah. But if you're missing something, like I said, you can go to sometimes a comic book shop will still have some prints. Like I've been picking up some of the X-Wing series comics from my local book comic shop. Gasp, sex. Sex, right? And let's see here. Wouldn't see that in a Disney film. Touch hands is the way of lovemaking. They're reaching out. She's got herself covered and they're reaching out. I can't believe they went down that path. But we did see in the prequel trilogy, Anakin and Padme in bed with each other. Of course, he has his shirt off and everything. It's like probably how a lot of men may sleep, with their shirt off and shorts or what have you. Let me see. They had a sleepover. Yay, right? They had a slumber party with each other. There we go. We can explain it as that. They had a slumber party with each other. Yep. And their summer party included no clothing. There you go. Because they're one of those nude kind of people. You know how you have naked people who, don't mind walking around the house without any clothes on and stuff like that. And it's very normal. Matt Wilkins, that explains why Stiggs wants to hold my hand. Because he's healing, or because we were reading these comics here where they had a sexual encounter. So you tell me, Matt. Yeah. All right. So you guys, if you have any favorite scenes in here, or any, want to touch basis on one of these scenes, go ahead. Brian King, all I have to say is awesome. Assume the position. There we go. We have a pun. Assume the position. Awesome, Brian King. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. And I hardly use these little clips, but here you go. I love you.
I know.
There we go. Yeah. All right. I forget that I have those little fun little quirky clips in there. Say that 5 times. Quirky clips. I can't even do it. All right. All right, Jedi in the streets, Sith in the sheets. There we go. I wonder if Mara says that to Luke. There you go, something to ponder. Someone can write their own little parody of Star Wars. And then Soul Assassin, how many clips are reaction to Stig's puns? Let's see. These are the clips I have. This one right here is one of my favorite ones, and I've used it a few times more than the other ones. But this is for people who arrive, and I haven't used it for this one yet, but I thought this was crazy, creepy fun.
What kept you?
He says, what kept you? And then we have this one.
This is madness.
There, so that one, this is madness. So this is for Stig.
You rebel scum.
There we go. And of course,
I love you. I know.
So that one here.
Force is strong in this one.
So those are the clips there. There we go. All right, you guys. So thank you guys again. My voice is kind of raspy right now. I hate it when that happens. My allergies or something's going on, I guess. I don't know. Nice. Yeah, so I keep forgetting to use them. I know a lot of people are very, very attuned to use them. Like they're like, like it's amazing how how they're used on other channels and stuff like that. So I just got to get used to using them. They're fun. They make the stream fun, right? And he's all laugh out loud. Yeah. Excuse me. And this is the chance where I'm like, Stig, go ahead and talk while I clear my voice. Yeah, my allergies. It's like this last year since we've had all the fires like surrounding us here in California. And we've had like a week of like pure smoke that looked like fog haze. It's like my sinuses have not fully recovered. And I've even had to get antibiotics because it turned into a sinus infection on one time. Let's see here. Keck 44. Howdy, iced tea, late. Now here we go.
What kept you?
Woo, there we go. I got a chance to use it. What kept you? We're starting to wind down, Keck, but you missed an awesome 2 comics of this 5-part series here. And so you're gonna have to go back and watch. And I recommend it because these are so good. It like gets you on your edge of the seat. It's like, what's gonna happen next? Oh God, you know, kind of deal. So there we go. Let's see. Good journey, everyone. Bedtime for me. Yes, you have a good sleep. Thank you for coming in and supporting as well. Yeah, so again, we're going to start closing out here. So you guys, like I said, all channel members between now and January, every time you attend a live stream, your name will be entered to win a copy of Son of Kifu. And I'm going to go ahead and show the full stream of it right now. So let's go ahead and do this.
Announcement for my channel, O.G.Starwars. Channel members have a chance to win a copy of Son of Kifu starting now in November through January just by coming on and supporting live streams. Your name will be entered to win a copy of this wonderful painting. So I encourage you, channel members, to come and support, as this is a way of giving back to you. If you are not a channel member, then what are you waiting for? Our last channel member, Miss Martin Muses, is the one who won Mistress of Rat Attack. Congratulations. And I shall chat with you guys later. See you in the live streams. Have a good day.
And there you go. So that explains it all. So if you become a channel member now, your name will, and during this live stream, your name will be entered to win. Your name will be entered in to win a copy of this painting here. And I'm super excited. I'm glad to be able to give back because you guys, subscribers, channel members, everyone that makes my channel possible and keeps coming back and support. I want a way to give back. So thank you guys so much. I want that. Yeah, so keep coming back. It was fixed. Laugh out loud. And then let's see here. That is just awesome. Hot bod. There you go. And we could tell that Lady Toriel that she really, really, really loves Quinlan Voss. And this painting, oh my God, I haven't painted for almost 2 weeks. I've been needing and wanting to get back in, get back onto that Quinlan Voss's image there. I think the next one, I'm going to do a Boba Fett. But what I'm going to do is, because he was basically a nomad. Yeah, he was born on Camino, right? Or he was made on Camino, but I guess however you want to say. But I think that I'm going to put Slave One behind him instead of a planet. So that should be interesting. So Boba Fett with Slave One behind him instead of the planet. What do you guys think? Should I do that, or should I put Camino, or should I put Mandalore? Or because he really Geonosis, that's where his father died, and that's where he buried him. So I wouldn't put that. So what do you think? Share it in the chat before we go. Write Slave One, or write Camino, or Mandalore. Which one do you think I should do? So go ahead. That's a great advert. Yep, advertisement, yes. And then, whoops, that's jumped on me. O.G.Starwars, why not just head to Florida, get out of California? I live on a reservation in California, so I kind of not live in California, if you know what I mean. This is sovereign tribal land, so a lot of California laws does not apply to where I live at. Now, when I go outside of it, yes, I do. But where I live at is relatively conservative as well. Let's see here. Soul Assassin. Legends say that Quinlan Voss pick helped Toriel get better with her healing powers. There you go. Boom. All right. Let's see here. And Soul Assassin, not Boba Thick from The Mandalorian. Nope. The original Mandalore. And I say Mandalore because he did resume what his father, and in honor of Jester Morrell, he became Mandalore. So he lived up to what his father wanted him to be. And then there you go. She agrees with you. She agrees. All right. So far I got one vote here. Okay. So Slave One so far, or if you feel it should be, not Geonosis, but what's it called? Fuck. Mandalore or Camino, put it down. Write it down. Which one do you think I should do behind him? Because my series is about the individual from Star Wars and the planet that they call their home planet. Brian King, I would say do a Jango and Boba Fett combo. I thought about that, but I think I will do Jango separate and put Concord Dawn. Oh, and Concord Dawn is a place where Boba Fett did make his home, and where he settled down with his family for a time until shit happened and she got raped and he killed him and blah, 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 blah. So that's part of his backstory. There you go. As I said, at Concord Dawn. There you go. So Slave One, Concord Dawn, Camino, or Mandalore. Even though he did have home on Mandalore for a short period of time, and then he sold it. Basically, he was a nomad. I'm gonna put a vote box in Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, go over there and vote as well. So we have one for Slave One, one for Concord Dawn, and one for Mandalore. Anything else? Drum rolls. Hey, yeah. So I'll go ahead and put that in as a poll on Twitter. So follow me back over at Twitter. So we're gonna start closing out before I friggin' lose my voice all the way, and then I can't talk anymore. So again, thank you guys so much for coming in and supporting the channel. Thank you for the new channel member as well. Your name is now in the drawing. So that's Darth Hester. Thank you so much. And for all the channel members as well, you guys' names will go into the drawing for that. And for the supporters, subscribers, thank you guys again. And maybe one of these days I will put a random drawing just for anybody that comes to a certain live stream of mine to win something. So we'll see. And here is the link here. Follow me on Twitter, Lady Toriel. So we have vote for one each so far. And then thank you, both of you guys. Jinx, if that could be possible, because sometimes someone, one's internet can lag a little bit. But thank you guys so much here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you guys again for coming in and spending time with me as we review The Wrong Side of the War, part 2 and 3. Again, it's getting good. It is getting good. So I'll see you guys next Thursday for Coffee Chat as we finish up 4 and 5 of this 5-part little series here and see what happens with Luke since someone recognizes him, and what happens now that the base basically is almost clear of all stormtroopers and everything as they set out a fleet to go to Thela or whatever, where the supposed rebel base is and stuff. So let's see what comes of that. So thank you guys again, and may the Force be with you.